Hi everyone, alongside Mike Trossel, I'm Dave Giancola, and welcome back in for another U.S. Open Classic finish. The 1995 U.S. Women's Open was played at the Broadmoor Golf Club in Colorado Springs and marked a changing of the guard in the sport. Annika Sorenstam started the final round 5 strokes back of 91 champion Meg Mallon.
Now, Annika had narrowed the gap of the front 9, but the 24-year-old from Sweden still had to overcome her nerves in the biggest test of her life if she hoped to win her first professional tournament in the United States.
Let's pick it up with Annika on the 10th hole.
Now the leader, Annika Sorenstam.
Annika is 184 yards from the top of the hill, like we said earlier. Couldn't have hit it any better. Right hole location. Hard to get to.
She wouldn't be hitting any more than a 4 to 5 iron since it's so much downhill.
Well, that's a very fine golf shot. Our leader.
To 15.
This is down the mountain. Very
Fantastic touch on that shot.
Okay, that was beautiful. Betsy King's last bogey was at 15 yesterday. She's now gone 17 holes without one. Back to 9.
Meg Mallon's second shot on this par 5.
Main thing here, you want to hit it solidly. It might have been a little heavy. I don't know from the sound.
She carries a little 7-wood. Looked like she used it there, but she is surprised again. Another ball has bounced into the back bunker.
Annika Sorenstam. Some have said here she's been a happy Hanukkah in this championship. Her last bogey came on the 10th hole yesterday, the Australian Women's Open, and then she won 2 tournaments in Europe, and that prepared her for this run in Colorado Springs, and many have just been waiting for her first U.S. victory. It's in the making with her great talent. Will it come at a major? She's finished twice this year at Tucson and at the Oldsmobile in Lansing as runner-up. And here she is in the lead through 9 holes of play today over Betsy King, Pat Bradley, and Meg Mallon, 3 former champions. How good is that?
She's very respected by the LPGA players. They think she's possibly one of the hottest players on tour right now not to have won.
Well, that shot she just hit is going to go a long ways to possibly getting another birdie on this hole. And this is the 3rd hardest hole on the golf course. So a little unexpected pleasure here to have a putt inside 12 feet on this 10th green.
You see the other scores, many of them in the clubhouse.
And Pat Bradley just got a nice little uphill pitch shot. It's the kind of shot you shouldn't have too much trouble. Just try to make nice, solid contact, brush the grass, which she's done twice now in her practice swing. Don't need to hit into the ground here. Doesn't do a lot from here. It's actually the kind of pitch shot you could make. It's almost straight in from there. Maybe just a little break left.
We'll talk a lot about how fast some of these greens are. You'll have putts that are extremely fast. You can have a 5-footer downhill. The mountain is looking the way she's looking up the fairway, and you get downhill, down mountain putts, and they're extremely fast.
Ahead to 15.
For her 9th straight par and to stay 1 back of Sorenstam. Oh, that is a fantastic sand save by Betsy King. She remains 1 under, 2-9.
And Meg Mallon out of the bunker. 3rd shot.
But you see she landed that ball just in the fringe as fast as it is away from the mountain. What a superb shot.
Back to 10. Sorenstam. Oh, my. Another birdie for this 24-year-old, and she has opened a 2-shot lead.
Stayed still on that putt, and that's, like I said, that's a one heck of a birdie.
This par 4 10th hole has been playing third toughest, and a birdie for Sorenstam.
And she was one of the players I spoke with this morning that said she was the most nervous. She said her stomach was jumping around like crazy this morning.
As long as the stroke is smooth, the stomach can jump all at once.
And just to be playing in the final round with a chance for a major title with a Hall of Famer.
Now's when you can't think about how happy your mom and dad will be, and how much this is going to do for you, and how many tournaments it's going to get you in. You got to really just say, hey, that was a good hole. Let's think about the next one.
Now Pat Bradley for her par. She remains in a tie for second, 2 behind Sorenstam. Back to the 9th. Birdie putt for Meg Mallon.
Big putt, Johnny. You've got to take advantage of the par 5. She had a brilliant shot in here. But should move just a tad left.
Solid up and in.
Meg Mallon sole possession of second place, 1 behind Sorenstam.
Dick, this is 16, the par 3 today, playing 167 yards. Betsy King is on the tee. Kay Cockrell is walking with this group. Kay, excuse me.
Bob Trumpy?
I'm wondering if Betsy King has looked at the scoreboard. I'm wondering if she knows where she stands. 1 under, now 2 back of Annika Sorenstam.
Knowing Betsy, I guarantee you she's looked at that scoreboard and she knows what she has to do. I think she needs to make 2 birdies the next 3 holes.
Kay, has Betsy checked the scoreboard?
Yes, she has. I saw her check the scoreboard after the 11th hole when she was on the 12th tee, so she's very aware of what's going on right now.
The one thing you don't want to do on this hole, Kay and Bob, is miss it. Hit it left side of the green. It's got like a 12-foot break there, and you don't want to be short on line either.
Well done by Betsy King. She's now 2 back of the championship leader, Annika Sorenstam, to 11.
This is the par 4, 362 yards, dog leg left. This is playing the easiest hole of this championship today in the final round. And Annika Sorenstam, a 2-shot lead, actually now 1 over Meg Mallon after her second straight birdie at 10. Most of the tee shots will kick to the left. Second shortest par 4 on the course. Gallery seems to like it. And it has gone into the rough. Back to 10.
Meg Mallon off the tee.
Right center of the fairway. Has to kick a little left. Nice play.
To 11.
And the tee shot, Pat Bradley. Trailing her playing competitor by 2 shots. And this one should stay in the fairway.
So 24-year-old Annika Sorenstam with a 1-shot lead over Meg Mallon. Lita Lindley, who was a college teammate of Sorenstam, also in the picture. As we go to 1969, as Kathy Whitworth looked on in dismay, Donna Caponi clinched the Women's Open on the final green. Caponi enjoyed the title so much she successfully defended it the following year.
At the par 3 16th birdie attempt, Betsy King.
Big break.
It would be her 5th of the day. She settles for her 10th straight par. And This is Lita Lindley, the young lady who was not only a schoolmate but also a roommate of Annika Sorenstam at the University of Arizona. This is her third shot. You see, this is her first Women's Open. Has played beautifully.
Bob, she said she was so nervous the first day. It was her first time in the lead, first time in the U.S. Open, and first time on national TV, and she was just awestruck.
I love her attitude. She's got the only smile I've ever seen that might be better than Nancy Lopez's.
Third shot.
Come on, get up.
Well, she opened with an even par 70, then 2 under 68, then 4 over 74. Let's move back to 11.
And from Lita Lindley's former roommate, Annika Sorenstam is in the rough, Kay Cockrell.
She is. She has 120 yards to the pin. The best situation is she's in the right side and the pin is left, and that will create a great angle for her shot, but her ball is sitting down pretty deeply in the rough. Coming out low.
Elevated green here at 11. Takes a nice hop and is headed toward the hole. What a play by Sorenstam. +2 on the par 4s this week, but an excellent opportunity for a third straight birdie. Back to 10.
Meg 186 downhill lie, which is going to close this club head down a little bit with a 6-iron.
Tough shot, hook lie, fade pin.
At the center of the green. Probably a
Second shot, Pat Bradley in the fairway.
That was a wedge from 105 yards.
That was a low wedge.
It sure was. Trying to get a little spin on that one.
Pat Bradley joked yesterday. She played with Lita Lindley and Annika Sorenstam. She joked that their combined age of 47 almost equaled hers. She's 44. Back to 10.
Julie's 177.
Tough angle, Andana.
Yeah, very tough angle. She's in the intermediate cut. Pretty good lie, but I'm sure what's fooling her is the shot that Meg just hit that checked up on the front edge. But if I was Meg, I'd be a little gun shy too, knocking it over the last 2 greens. Fortunate making birdie on the last hole.
Standing below that ball, probably 5 inches. Should make it go left, which doesn't accept this whole location.
Oh, that's lovely.
Well, it's left. Maybe a little short.
Keep right.
Well, she got a good hop out of it.
Oh, yeah, that's a great putt there, Drew.
This game can beat you up mentally.
Well, the amateur winner of this U.S. Women's Championship will receive a gold medallion, and that goes to Sarah LeBrun Ingram, who is 7 months pregnant. She finished +14. Kelly Booth, Wendy Ward, Grace Park. Grace Park only 16 years of age, the youngest in the competition, and Wendy Ward, who will turn professional right after play today. To 15.
And this is Lita Lindley at +1. Started golf at the age of 9. Not big, just 5 feet 4 inches tall. Beautiful putting stroke.
Well, yesterday, Bob, she said if she hadn't made every putt she looked at, she would have shot 80. So it was working yesterday, but not her ball striking.
The mountain got her back to 11.
Birdie try for Pat Bradley, Kay.
25-footer downhill from the fringe.
Well, she birdied this hole yesterday. She'll settle for par here. And you might notice Pat's new hair color, and she refers to it as platinum. I was talking to her last night. She colored it after taking exception to a sports writer who referred to her as the gray-haired 43-year-old who won earlier this year. So she likes her new platinum do. And now Sorenstam with a chance for her third straight birdie. Okay.
This is a little 6-footer, putting back up to the mountains. Putt will break slightly to the right. She'll probably aim this one just about on the left edge.
Three straight for the Swede, and she fires back at Mallon and makes it a 2-shot lead.
And that putt went in just like a Corey Pavin putt at Shinnecock. I mean, that just rifled in the hole.
10th on tour in putting, and the putting part used to be the worst of Annika Sorenstam's game, but as you see the updated leaderboard, third straight birdie, and now this for par for Bradley. And Pat remains 1 under for the championship, back to 10.
Julie's 40-footer straight down, riding the mountain. Johnny, that's that putt you and I read that was perfectly straight, and we couldn't believe it.
She hit a beauty a little harder and she'd have made it. That'd have been a heck of a 3 after not being too thrilled with her second.
Now here's a putt that's really going to swing. She was motioning to John, her caddy, the direction of the mountain going down towards the valley. It's straight downhill and extremely fast.
There's a beautiful view of the mountain range here that influences so much this golf course. It was just built right on the influence of the foothills of the very eastern side of the Rocky Mountains.
This putter that she's using is a J-blade. She's only had it for about a month. One of the best putting strokes on tour. Ball will swing a little bit from her left to right, all depending on the speed.
Up there.
So Meg Mallon, who enjoyed a 2-shot lead at the start today, now trails by 2 to Annika Sorenstam.
You are watching the U.S. Women's Open on NBC.
Welcome back for par at the 10th, Meg Mallon. Mallon remains 2 under, 2 behind Sorenstam to 12, and there's the leader.
Last year's Rookie of the Year. Annika is just 24 years old, as we said earlier.
Birdies at 5 and 9, and 10 and 11, 3 in a row.
She's a very quiet person. She keeps pretty much to herself on tour. She's just kind of what you'd call a sweet, shy young lady.
And this par 3 12th, playing 210 yards today. Johnny, you mentioned they've moved them back today. Very scenic hole. Mountain behind them, into the city, into it, and a 5-iron for Annika K.
Yes, the wind is also playing in their face today, so the hole is playing just a tad bit longer than it has. Just going at the camera stand.
Safe play for Sorenstam. Well right of the hole location. LPGA Rookie of the Year in '94. long line of international players who have been chosen Rookie of the Year, including Helen Alfredsson, fellow countrywoman from Sweden, also Lisa Lott Neumann.
Same as we had the other day.
She looks up to, and now Pat
Good
Bradley.
solid swing. Direct glove.
Pat Bradley with a 4-iron. Going left side of the green.
Got a decent kick. It's on the collar for Bradley. Back to 11, the par 4, 362 yards. Meg Mallon.
It's another big hop, a lot of roll there, Dan Hicks.
That is really long.
I mean, that rolled about 60 yards.
Ahead to 17.
Third shot for Betsy King. 3 off the lead.
Got to get this up and in. Got to putt, come over that rise right there. It looks pretty darn good. Not bad.
Left about a 12-footer for birdie. Defending champion on 18. Patty Sheehan. Sheehan, 2 over for the championship, has had a solid round. This for 68.
And we've seen putt after putt missed here on 18. I don't know if it's nerves or the read, but still a good tournament. 69 today.
And a champion salute from this gallery, the largest ever to follow a U.S. Women's Open. 106,000 fans have attended this week, 27,000 today. So Sheehan will not make it 3 out of 4 years. The title belongs to someone else. And a year from now, the gold medals will begin to be distributed in Atlanta. The games of 1996, the Centennial Olympics. And we have Atlanta 1996 live next Sunday at 3:30 Eastern here on NBC. To 14. Second shot, Val Skinner.
Nice crisp swing there. Caught it a little thin, it sounded like. But a good shot right where you want it.
Skinner even par today, +2 for the championship to 17. Betsy King. This is a birdie chance.
I really believe if Betsy King wants to at least get in a playoff, this is a must right here. This is the putt she's got to have. Wasn't her greatest approach there on her third, but leaves herself underneath the hole. A left edge putt.
It was here yesterday that she eagled, and that really started her whole momentum to drive toward a possible championship. Birdied first 4 of the first 5 holes today. And that's her 12th consecutive par since.
Well, that was an easy putt for her. Not easy with the pressure, but it's the putt she wanted. Right straight uphill inside left edge, and she pushed it to right center. Unusual procedure here of lining up, something you might see really just sort of a beginner come up with, but it works very well for her.
Well, the Hall of Fame approach, the 14th member of the LPGA Hall of Fame. Let's go to 12.
And a long birdie try for Sorenstam.
And a fast one.
Good effort from there. 4 straight would be asking a little bit much from that distance. As we look over to the Broadmoor Golf Club, hosting this 50th U.S. Women's Open, and Annika Sorenstam trying to break through for her first win, a major championship. Now Pat Bradley just on the collar, Kay.
45-foot putt. First part of this putt very quick downhill.
Just by the right edge. Pat's had a few of those today. Thought she had it.
Back to 11.
And the second shot of Meg Mallon. Great place to come into this whole location. Back left. She crushed her drive, but sends it over.
Green's firming up.
Ahead to 12. This for par for Sorenstam to remain 2 shots ahead of Mallon.
Little 3.5-foot putt. Not a whole lot of movement.
Solid again. 4 under on a round today, and that's where she stands for this championship.
Interesting thing, after 3 rounds, Annika was number 2 in greens hit, averaging 14.6. She had 15 green hits yesterday, but 35 putts. So you can see today she's hitting the ball a lot closer and making those putts.
Back to 11. This is Meg Mallon. Donna Caponi.
Next ball is in that primary rough, sitting way down. You're gonna have to take a sand wedge or a lob wedge and just get the club on the ball, because everything goes right, filters right down towards the hole.
How fast?
Real fast. Beautiful play. A little above the hole, but that's still a good play.
Just take a look at the shot. She just takes it back and just like Donna said, just sort of lets gravity hit this. Keeps the club real low. Do you see that? Didn't hit up on it. Try to lift it. And does leave herself a ticklish downhiller, though.
Ahead to 18.
And Betsy King on this finishing par 4.
She has her cleek. She'll try to drive it left center.
Playing off a hook stance. She was aiming down the right rough.
She said after getting in the Hall of Fame last week, if she had the lead in the U.S. Open, now that's not a very good lie, that she probably wouldn't be that nervous on Sunday.
Back to 13. And the tee shot of Annika Sorenstam, who said earlier this morning to play today well, she'd have a mindset that it was the opening round, not the 4th round.
Well, it's pretty hard to play a round at the U.S. Open, a final round, unscathed. It'll be interesting to see if she can do the impossible.
Well, she let go of the club like she didn't like it, but the balls turned out pretty doggone good for her.
That's actually a great position, being left center for this pin on the right side.
Our Hall of Fame competitive partner.
Good job.
Let's take a look at Annika's reaction, facial reaction. Well, those straight misses are nice.
Who wins the Open is usually the one that makes the least mistakes and gets a little lucky.
Look at that look, like she got away with something.
211.
And Marlene, Meg Mallon trying to avoid another mistake here at 11. This for par. Donna?
I would think it's inside left.
Boy, her 3rd bogey of the day. And she falls back to 1 under for the championship, now trailing Sorenstam by 3.
So Annika Sorenstam, showing no signs of nerves at age 24, has built a 3-shot advantage as she goes to the 13th green. Betsy King, Pat Bradley, Meg Mallon trail by 3. In 1982, Julie Inkster capped off an incredible run right here at the Broadmoor, winning her 3rd straight women's amateur championship. No one before or since has ever won more than 3 in a row. Colorado Springs, this city founded during the gold rush in the late 1800s, and it's for gold that the best players in the world are vying. Golfing gold here at the Broadmoor. Betsy King, 2nd shot at 18.
She got lucky and caught a pretty good lie of about 135 yards. Hit an 8-iron, and she'll have to be pleased with that one. Still will have an uphill birdie attempt here.
To 13. Annika Sorenstam.
Yes.
Sprinkler head.
And then 1 cup length. You know.
David Fay is with us, the executive with the USGA.
Well, Hanukkah is getting relief from a sprinkler head. It's an immovable obstruction. She determines her nearest point of relief, drops within 1 club length, and she has to get complete relief. And now she's ready to go. As you can see from the graphic, options under free relief drop within 1 club length, the spot nearest to the ball position, which is not near the hole, avoids interference from the obstruction. And since this is through the green, not in a bunker, water hazard, or on a putting green.
Making it easy on her caddy, Colin, to find the proper yardage. Annika with 143 yards to the pin. As I said before, a nice angle. Being on the left center of this fairway, hitting to the right side.
If she hits it left of the pin hole high, it leaves her an extremely fast putt. So this is one time, even though with a 3-shot lead, that you might want to go ahead and go right at it, because it's a better leave at the hole or even a little bit right.
Looks like it's going just a tad left of the flag.
On 18, Betsy King for birdie.
That's a shame, because she had a long putt, but it was just as straight as an arrow from there, and I thought she might give it a good run, and leaves it 5.5 feet short. A little surprising there.
But Johnny Miller, regardless of what happens, Betsy King has really made the fight today. Her early start with those birdies had to press hard on Meg Mallon, who had not played as yet.
Yeah, but who would have thought she wouldn't birdie after 5?
Now Pat Bradley at 13, 2nd shot.
That was a wedge from 125 yards.
Back to 12.
And this is Rosie Jones for birdie. Tracking a birdie for Rosie Jones, and after a couple of bogeys on the front 9, that birdie at 12 gets her back to even. 4 shots off the pace. Meanwhile, up on the tee at 12, Meg Mallon has had a long time to either, I guess, remember or forget that bogey on.
Just because it's got to carry.
11,
I think 5
Donna,
to the right's okay, but.
Julie Larson is first to play.
A little bit of wind into the player's face at the tee. But if you look down at the green, it sits down below the players.
That other one, though, just with the wind in, it was just perfect, so I don't think.
Yep. There is the par 3 12th from the mountainside.
Ideally, Dan, the players would love to hit it just at our TV tower or the left edge of the TV tower, because everything will filter from the center of the green back down to the hole.
You can see the TV tower right there, and of course the hole location is right over here.
Looks like it's right at it.
Get up.
Just short. 4-iron came up short for Larson.
That was perfect.
Just a little bit harder.
+3 on her final round. And now Meg Mallon, she needs to regroup a little bit here, Donna. She's just 3 shots back, has plenty of holes left.
And I don't know if she took a look at this leaderboard. You can hardly miss it. It's sitting right on the tee.
7 wood?
That's what it is. She has 4 woods in her bag this week. The longest iron she has is a 4-iron. So the rest are the 7 wood again, playing right of the hole and let it filter down towards the pin. It's a little left of the flag.
Hold it. Come on, boss.
And it just won't quite hold.
That's a makeable chip shot, though.
Ahead to 18.
And Betsy King for par and a 66 today.
And that hole is like it's got cellophane on it today. It just won't go in.
67 then for King as we go to Sorenstam.
And you can see the difficulty of that putt. You see it's literally going sideways as it dies.
Back to 18 and a tap in for bogey for Betsy King. Well, a Hall of Fame effort from this woman. The best of the day is 67. Tammy Green, her partner, 69. Back to Pat Bradley at 13. This is for birdie.
Breaks 2 or 3 inches to the right. Not as much as it looks. And you see how quick that is. I think this is the hardest putting green on the whole golf course, especially when it's up on the top tier.
Particularly because she had an uphill putt the first 3 or 4 feet, and then it went downhill from there. I tell you, Pat's a real tough contender. I talked to her about 2 months ago, and she told me that she was having a really tough time trying to remotivate herself after she got into the Hall of Fame. For so long, her sole goal was to get into the Hall of Fame, and after that, she saw no light at the end of the tunnel after that. I mean, she didn't know where she was going. She had a good talk with Sandra Haney and tried to get some thoughts on how to refocus and rededicate herself, because Sandra Haney went through the same thing.
And Pat Bradley asked Annika to try a coin that wasn't quite so shiny, I think. So she remarked her ball and pulled out something that is either smaller or not so bright. And this is a good break for Annika because she can watch this tricky little left breaking short putt and see what it does. See if Pat Bradley can handle this. And you can see how quickly that breaks left, and I really believe that's a good break for Annika to see that.
Bradley drops his shot. She's even for the championship. Meg Mallon now alone in second, 3 behind Sorenstam.
So far, every putt Annika's hit has just come off the putter, Kay, like I said, like Corey Pavins do. Just jet off the putter with perfect speed and with authority, and we'll see if that continues right here.
Yeah, nerves of Swedish steel. Only 2 players remain in red. Annika Sorenstam, 4 under. And Meg Mallon, 1 under par. Let's go to 12.
This is the par 3, and it's been somewhat of an adventure for Meg Mallon today in this final round. So easy yesterday, bogey-free, 66. Today, just 5 pars to go along with 3 bogeys, a triple bogey, and a couple of birdies mixed in.
Pat, this is a makeable pitch shot, though, isn't it? Donna, I'm sorry.
She's in the primary rough, but the ball's sitting up pretty well. I think if she lays open a wedge or sand wedge, and you're right, Johnny, this could be chipped in. Just land it just in the frog hair and let it filter down.
Nearly did chip it in, just that short.
She's getting pretty good practice at that. She's hit 3 great shots in 4 holes, and all of them have skipped over the back.
To 14.
Off the tee, the leader, Annika Sorenstam.
Need to avoid the bunker that's left, and she carries it, hits the downslope, and gets a big shooting forward, low bouncing shot. Perfect position.
Okay, is there any conversation between Bradley and Sorenstam during the course of this? Well, we'll get that answer in a moment. To 13.
Rosie Jones off a side hill, downhill lie. She's had a nice little cut shot in there, and does she play with a lot of heart.
Jones off the birdie at 12. She's still in contention for a big check today. Annika Sorenstam. All the pressure now will start to be felt mounting on this 24-year-old as she's through 13 with the lead. For 50 years, the United States Women's Open has been the barometer defining the game's most talented individuals. 4 years ago, a 28-year-old, Meg Mallon, verified her role among the game's most gifted players. It was a moment that she shared with family, a moment truly treasured, a moment to absorb the meaningfulness of a U.S. Open championship.
A U.S. Open is special. I didn't realize it till I had won it in '91 how special it is. It brings a lot of attention. You get that trophy and you see names like Patty Berg and Mickey Wright and Patty Sheehan and Betsy King, that some of the greatest players that have ever played on our tour, and it's just a tremendous feeling to have your name alongside those people.
But on the 4th hole today, disaster for Meg Mallon, triple bogey, and her once comfortable lead was gone. Hanging tough, however, Mallon, the '91 Open champion, regained the top spot temporarily on the 6th hole. But 24-year-old Annika Sorenstam, showing poise beyond her years, carried the lead with 3 straight birdies. Could this product of Stockholm and the University of Arizona realize her first LPGA win by dramatically winning this major title? Her sights on golfing glory as the U.S. Women's Open completes a memorable half-century.
Well, after a huge tee shot on 14, she leaves herself just really a wedge shot into a birdie opportunity. Kicks it cleanly.
Going just right of the flag.
I was curious, Kay, with Pat Bradley, who is 20 years Sorenstam senior, is there any conversation? Is there any gamesmanship between the two?
Really not a whole lot of talking between the two. Pat has always been a very determined player. She gets out here, she just gets down to business. That's the way she always has been. It's nothing personal. Also, because they're playing in twosomes, they're playing quite quickly. There's really not a lot of time to sit and wait and chat.
When Bradley played her first U.S. Women's Open in 1971, Annika Sorenstam had yet to celebrate her first birthday. And here they are paired. The U.S. Women's Open Championship on the line, and Sorenstam with a 3-shot lead to 13. And Rosie Jones with a late charge. This for birdie. Back to 14.
Should be noted, really, Annika did win the '94 Australian Women's Open last year, and she's won twice in Europe in the last month, so maybe one of the hottest golfers in the world. This is not really an aberration that we're seeing her play this well this week.
Also, what's truly amazing, too, is her last year when she won Rookie of the Year, she was a non-exempt player, meaning she was not exempt into all the tournaments. She had to play quite a lot of Monday qualifiers and ended up 39th on a money list.
Bradley currently in a tie for third with Betsy King, who's in the clubhouse, Rosie Jones and Julie Larson at even par. Back to 13 and Rosie Jones for par.
Tough little putt.
And Jones remains 4 back, even in the championship. Now to 14.
Monica has a 15-foot birdie putt. This one going away from the mountain, and it will also break a good 2 or 3 inches to her left.
It'd be fun to know the thoughts that are going into her mind and rattling around in there, and whether or not she's saying, hey, I want to make another birdie. I want another shot clear of the leaders that are behind me.
I tell you, Johnny, she's always been a very mature player, much more mature beyond her years.
That might have done it if she made that. Watch this ball here. It'll actually, I think, go down in the hole and come back out. Ooh. And she is calm as can be. That's about as rattled as she's looked all day. She thought she had it.
So Sorenstam with her par, almost birdie, remains 4 under. Bradley's par stays even to 13. Meg Mallon's second shot.
She has just a little short, possibly 9-iron or pitching wedge. She's trying to keep it under the hole, and it's come up a little shorter than she'd like.
Just not getting those irons in tight enough to expect to make birdies.
To 18, and Lita Lindley for birdie on this finishing hole.
And watch this smile. If you want to see a smile, it'll light up the Rockies.
What a day for the Arizona Wildcats. Annika Sorenstam and Lita Lindley, 69. They were teammates and roommates on the 91 Arizona National Championship team. Now let's go to 15.
From the Cheyenne Mountains down to the tee, it's 406 yards. It's a dogleg left. Tee is elevated. And first to hit will be the tournament leader, Annika Sorenstam. She has been cool and collected all day. Kay, have you seen any signs of emotion from this young lady?
No, I haven't, and that's perfectly par for Annika. She's very low-key, very laid back, not one to get overly excited or too upset.
You can see the first 2 days playing 15 produced bogey, par yesterday. Line, Kay?
Yes, it's going down the left side, actually a little into the rough.
She got away with
it. Did bounce out into the fairway.
Quiet, please.
That young lady began the day 5 shots behind Meg Mallon. She now leads Meg Mallon by 3. Now Pat Bradley.
This one going down the right center, drawing in. Perfect position.
Let's move down to Hannah Storm.
Thanks, Bob. Here with the most recent Hall of Famer, Betsy King, has certainly played like a Hall of Famer today. Came out blazing, 4 birdies on the first 5 holes. Now, you were 8 shots off the pace to start the day. Did you have a target score in mind?
I did. I was actually thinking if I could shoot 6 under and get to 3 under for the tournament that I might have a shot at winning. So the good start was a help, but played pretty steady after that, but just didn't make any more birdies coming in.
It looked like you were going to have an incredible round, and for just a moment, we'll continue talking to you, Betsy, but let's go out and see what's happening on 13.
Okay.
Mallon's putt is 50 feet. But the good thing about this is Julie Larson putted first, so she got a very good read on this putt moving from left to right. When Meg walked down the fairway, she took a good look at that leaderboard. I mean, she studied it. So she knows how important every shot is from here on in. Putt could move as much as 2 feet to her right. Have a little tester coming back.
All right, Meg Mallon, 3 off the lead. Let's go back to Hannah.
Betsy King, you were very friendly with Meg Mallon. Do you think that you managed to put some pressure on her at the start?
No, I wasn't really thinking about that. I know Meg's probably a little bit disappointed with how things have gone so far. I didn't see how she started out, but she got 4 over pretty early. But I think, you know, if she can make a couple birdies coming in, she'll be okay. At this point, when you have a tough start, it's hard to come back and make birdies.
Can you give us a sense for what Annika Sorenstam is like, how the other players on tour view her? She's in the lead.
I think all the players like Annika very much. She's very level-headed, calm, and a good player. Meg's got a tricky putt for par here.
Okay, what does Meg have here on this putt?
It should go a little bit right to left. Her first putt was a hard one, where it was left to right coming up over a ridge. Now she's putting back against the hill a little bit, so she can putt a little bit more aggressively.
She sure is. How difficult is it? Can you give us a sense when you come out with a lead like Meg had today, as opposed to a player like Annika or yourself who has some ground to make up and maybe a little less pressure?
Well, it is harder to play from the lead. I've discovered that a lot the last couple of years, and particularly in the Open. You know, when there's only one person ahead, if they have a little bit of an off day, you really have a shot at it. And Meg was out there, but you know, if she didn't play her best golf today, that let everybody else back into the tournament.
And talking about pressure, you really played with a lot when you were waiting to get that final win to get into the Hall of Fame, as you did 3 weeks ago. And here's how it happened.
Birdie on the last 2 holes.
What can you just describe your emotions at that point?
I was excited and relieved at the same time, if you can have that. It was a great feeling. It took a while to do it, and I was happy that it happened.
And now, Betsy, you played your first major since being a Hall of Famer. Was it a little different mentality for you coming in
I thought
this
I'd
time?
be more relaxed, but you know what? The Open jitters still were there a little bit. I think when you play an Open course, you know it's tough and you have to play your best golf or you're going to look silly. And so you're just trying to avoid embarrassment and stay in the tournament.
All right, well, thanks for providing us with a beautiful round of golf today.
Thank you.
And let's get back to the championship action.
All right, Hannah, we're at 15. Pat Bradley appears first to hit. Kay Cockrell, how far?
166 yards to the flag. Ideally, she just wants to hit this about 155 yards.
Oh, location, back right. Well, just about the middle of the green. Let me correct myself. Annika Sorenstam's drive is in the left. Is it primary rough? I can't really tell, Kay.
It is primary, just into the primary rough.
Thank you.
It's sitting down a little bit. It's not buried as badly as it could have been. I think she's can get a good 8-iron onto this, 148 yards.
Bunker, green side bunker. She is the leader in the 50th U.S. Women's Open. Her name is Annika Sorenstam. She's from Sweden.
Welcome back. The U.S. Women's Open Championship boiling down to the final few holes. Let's go out to 15.
And you see the situation that Sorenstam is in. Kay, what do you think?
Well, kind of a tricky shot. Doesn't have a whole lot of green to work with, and once the ball lands on the green, it will move to the right.
Annika Sorenstam's last bogey was at 10 yesterday. She's working on a streak of 22 straight holes without a bogey.
Well, let's take a look at this bunker shot. Good form, catches it just a touch heavy, and but does keep the ball sort of under the hole with a left to right putt.
This young lady trying to match a feat of a fellow countrywoman, Liselott Neumann, in 1988. Won the U.S. Women's Open. It was her first professional victory. I'm sure Annika is aware of that. She is looking at the scoreboard, is she not, Kay?
She is. She's peeking around the gallery, taking a look, see what's happening.
Let's move back to 14.
And it's Meg Mellon that she has to watch. She's 3 behind.
140 yards with the 7-iron. Beautiful shot just below the hole, maybe 20 feet.
Back to 15.
And birdie attempt of Pat Bradley. Kay Cockrell, read this one for us.
Oh, this is a pretty difficult putt. Will swing quite a bit from left to right.
Breaks twice as much as it looks like. Good putt. Oh.
You think she isn't trying?
That's the 4 knockdown rule, Pat Bradley.
When Pat Bradley won her first LPGA tournament, took place in 1974, her playing competitor, Annika Sorenstam, on the right, was 4 years old. Now this for a par to remain 3 up on Meg Mellon. Okay.
A little uphill. This will move left to right.
Number of putts per round, 20 to this point. You mentioned that earlier. This would be a heck of a save. Now that is her first bogey in 23 holes.
Looking at that leaderboard, Bob Trumpy, I'm not so sure was the most wonderful thing to do right before you have a clutch putt, but hit that way too hard, and at least she has enough guts to look at the leaderboard.
Yep. Well, that putt was up the mountain, and we showed the graphic. She bogeyed 15 Thursday, Friday, and again today. Now Pat Bradley for par. Yeah, that's if Annika Sorenstam makes this next putt. This is for par. So Pat Bradley bogeys. She now stands at +1.
Pat's putter really letting her down in the last couple of holes.
I would not want this putt.
Really hard to keep all the thoughts out of your head and just try to focus on one shot at a time.
The lead is now 2 over Meg Mellon.
And there's a big difference between a 2 and a 3 shot lead. Psychologically, you know that a birdie bogey and you're back to even, whereas a 3 shot lead, there's that extra cushion. There's a lot of difference between 2 and 3.
So let's update the leaderboard. The 50th U.S. Women's Open Championship to be decided in the next hour, and Annika Sorenstam, 2 under par, 1 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 under par, now has a 2-shot advantage over Meg Mallon, who led at the start today. It appears to be a 2-player race.
Julie Larson's putt, 35 feet uphill. It's very slow from down there, straight up the hill with big swing from right to left. Unfortunately, didn't catch it solid.
And Julie felt like her fiance was flying in tonight for today's championship, which he did for Minneapolis, and she thought that would give her an extra lift today. Unfortunately, it didn't.
Now Meg's putt is going to swing quite a bit from right to left. Julie's mishit putt really didn't help Meg any because her ball was a little bit too far to the right of her line.
This goes a little bit left.
Yes. It's a little downhill, but I don't think this green, Johnny, you and I are putting wasn't as fast as the rest of them. It's probably the flattest green out here.
It's really a good opportunity, even though it's pretty far.
Right.
Give it a good run. Stepping away almost like the ball moved, but
there's a little gnat. She was waving at it with her putter. Nice read.
At the 16th, the U.S. Women's Open leader, 166 yards. Annika Sorenstam, club selection, Kay?
8 iron. 160 yards is about all she wants to play. Hitting it down the left center of the green.
Front edge, Kay.
Probably should have gone another club.
And that putt has about a 12-foot break.
Well, probably what she was thinking was, whatever I do, I don't want to go over the screen.
That's the green at 16, and the leader is Annika Sorenstam. And let's move back to 14.
Julie Larson for par. Larson drops a shot to +1 to 16.
Pat Bradley.
That with a 7 iron. Going just right of the flag. That's the ideal position to be in.
Yes, okay, that will be a putt up the mountain as Pat Bradley walks to the green at 16. She trails the U.S. Open leader by 4.
Well, you got to take a look at this putt. I'm going to tell before she hits it, she's going to have to aim about 12 feet left of the hole, and this thing is just going to just come right in at this angle here, and hopefully end it up right there. She's just about matched the telestrator.
Didn't quite get it high enough.
She had the right line. She just, but you can just see that putt is like 14 at Augusta.
Well, in the gallery, Annika's fiance, David Esch, works for a golf club manufacturer. I'm sure he's just as nervous as Annika. A little sigh there at that putt.
They just recently became engaged about 2 months ago.
Well, I'm sure he wishes he could help somehow, but there's nothing he can do but to sit and watch.
Well, he's watched her play a lot of golf this year, and I know he's feeling it. She's right on the edge of doing something great.
The birdie attempt for Pat Bradley. Her last birdie was at the 5th hole. Since then, a bogey at 13, a bogey at 15. She is now +1.
22-foot putt uphill. She must get this far enough to the right, or it will take a big swing to the left.
And she staggers to another putt at the cup.
Well, I'll tell you what, any young players out there, if you want to see how to use body English today, just watch Pat Bradley.
How about playing the tour for 22 years and still having the stamina and the will to win like that?
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Well,
This is a good 6-foot putt left, and not that much easier than the first one. Still quite a bit of break to this putt. Maybe about 2 or 3 inches, 4 inches to the right.
there's the leaderboard. She lost a stroke at 15. She's now playing 16, this for par. Well, if she makes that putt, her lead is now down to 1.
Quiet, please. Hold, please.
Two shots lost in the last 2 holes. Second shot. Meg Mallon at the 15th.
That was from 170, Trump.
There we go. Not bad, not bad.
Beautiful play.
Go.
Well, Meg Mallon, who was the leader by 2 when this final round began, now trails the leader, Annika Sorenstam, by 1. This is the final round of the 50th U.S. Women's Open.
You are watching the U.S. Women's Open on NBC.
Beth Daniel, the defending champion and the best of the LPGA, will be competing at the JAL Big Apple Classic next week, presented by Golf Magazine. You'll see it Saturday and Sunday, 4 Eastern, here on NBC. Clouds start to gather, the normal pattern here in Colorado Springs. Colorado is a Spanish word meaning reddish colored, and there are only 2 in those red numbers. Annika Sorenstam, 2 under, Meg Mallon, 1 under, as they come down the stretch with the championship at stake.
Oh, the high pressure system here at the Open's keeping those clouds away. And we have high pressure here, of course, and Annika, who was really bulletproof until the last 2 holes, you might say is possibly leaking a little oil at the moment, and then she could patch that up quickly here at 17. It's a hole she can reach into. She needs a good drive. She averages 264 for the tournament. This is a downhill tee shot. She'll get another 20 yards on it, and that'll allow her to get on with one of her fairway woods.
Annika's played, Johnny, the final 2 holes in this championship 1 under the first 3 rounds.
Johnny, if she can get her drive out to about 270 to 280, she'll only have about 250 yards to the front. So if ever a good solid drive was needed.
I totally agree. Pat Bradley, of course, 1 over par. Bradley's got to know that she needs to finish probably eagle birdie unless something more unusual happens. Because Meg Mallon sitting back there a couple holes behind at 1 under, just 1 behind Annika.
Is rolling to about 270 yards. I know Annika can hit it past Pat.
Where are you located, Kay?
I'm just down the middle of the fairway, just about where the drives land.
Setting up on the right side of the tee on this slightly moving right hole. was looking a little right.
Oh, bad break. Definitely not what she needed.
Now Meg Mallon, 4 birdies. 75 players have gone through 15 today. Only 2 have made birdies. Donna Caponi, read this putt for us.
Well, you've been here all day, but what I saw this morning is that this ball's going to move a little bit to the right and then back down to the hole. Could go down to the left towards the valley.
Never got it high enough. And at the par 3 16th, Rosie Jones. 6-iron, 16, playing 166 yards. Rosie is +2, just bogeyed 14 and 15. Very close for birdie for Rosie. Back to 15. Now this is back up into the mountain, Donna.
Absolutely. I'm standing on the opposite side of the hole, looking straight at it. Inside left to straight in. And obviously, as you just said, Trump, back up into the hill, which means she has to hit a little bit firmer.
Excellent 2-putt to keep Meg Mallon 1 back with 2 to play. With 3 to play, excuse me. And at 16, you wondered what the roar was? Kelly Robbins from the bunker. Who +4 on the championship, +4 on the day. As you look down from the Will Rogers Shrine on this Broadmoor East Golf Course, Colorado Springs, Colorado, and to the green at 16, the birdie attempt of Rosie Jones. Began today at 1 under, is now +2 on the championship.
Big breaking putt to the right. You have to have perfect line and speed to make this.
Rosie said she played and felt the breaks in this golf course with her feet.
Ahead to 17.
And Kay studying the lie of the leader, Annika Sorenstam.
Annika's in the primary rough. It's actually not in the deepest part of the rough, but there is some longish grass right behind her ball. She's taking out an iron right now. That basically tells you what her decision is. I think that's the smart thing to do, play down the left side. She doesn't need to try anything too fancy here. It's a par 5. All she needs to do is place this down there and with a good yardage in where she can hit a nice shot close for her 3rd.
Kay, she told me this morning the best part of her golf game was from 50 yards in.
Oh.
Hold on, ball. Oh, that's the worst thing that could have happened.
Looks like the club may have just turned over in her hand, Johnny, with thick grass.
Instead of gearing up for impact and dominating the rough just absolutely folded the club right over. She didn't stay solid in impact. That's what you want to do on those kind of shots out of the rough, is be very firm. Watch this right at the bottom, sort of like a Chichi Rodriguez type punch at the bottom. She just sort of took more of a lazy kind of move, moved her head in a low pull hook. And that shot right there could cost her the championship. You can see right there. She does have a lot of green to work with from that left rough, though. If she has any kind of lie at all, she can still make a birdie on this hole.
Meanwhile, Meg Mallon, who started the day in terrific position and then a triple bogey just knocked her on her heels, has rallied and held tough. And Bob Trumpy, she's very much a part of this drama.
Yes, you Open champions are measured from the inside out, Dick, and surviving that bogey, triple bogey start this morning, Mega's held on. Donna Caponi's here, 166 club selection, Donna?
166. This with a 7-iron. She only needs to hit it 150, and it'll filter down towards the hole, favoring left side of the flag. Boy, it's right at it. Beautiful play.
Thank you.
But back up the mountain for Mallon, now 217.
Pat hitting a 3-wood, 260 yards to the front, 284 to the pin. She definitely can get this on with a good solid hit.
Go. Stay right. Settle.
In the mountain effect, and the ball carrying into the intermediate rough. Now Annika, okay?
Well, she has about 150 to the middle. Her lie is decent. It's actually in a fairly thick portion of the primary rough, but it's sitting up slightly.
What do you think she hit on that second shot that she twisted the club? That could be a similar kind of club that she's going to go with here.
Right, it looked like it was a 4-iron. And I'm surprised if she was going for the layup why she didn't just hit a 5-iron, something that would be sure to get her down there out of that rough. Because this was the biggest mistake, to hit it in the rough again.
The one thing good about this shot is she can hit it short of that. You see the green is divided by that rise in the middle of it. Out of the rough, she could probably hit short of it and feed it right back into that back pin placement.
Exactly.
So she doesn't need to carry it too far to get to there. How far to get to the front part of the green on the fly?
140.
Another low shot, huh?
It looked like that was a 7-iron.
So the leader, Sorenstam, at 17, off the green in 3, and charging from behind, Meg Mallon.
The 50th U.S. Women's Open is brought to you by Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of Lincoln luxury automobiles, by American Express, by Titleist, the #1 ball in golf, and by Callaway Golf, makers of the Big Bertha irons and the Big Bertha Warbird metal woods.
Meg Mallon walking to the green at 16. Donna Caponi, you're down there. Did you catch her looking at the leaderboard?
She looked right over one of our cameramen's head at the board, and she didn't study it, but on 13 and 15, she took a good, hard, long look at it.
Now let's move ahead to 17.
Out of the intermediate rough. You can see the penalty you pay for being in there. You don't get any spin whatsoever. Rolls to the back.
Back to 16.
And there she is. She was the overnight leader at 5 under par. She parred 1 and 2, bogeyed 3, triple bogeyed 4, parred 5, birdied 6, bogeyed 8, birdied 9, bogeyed 11. She has hung with it and still has a chance. And let's move ahead to 17.
Fourth shot of Sorenstam.
Moves a little left. Oh my word, you got to putt one of those for the National Open.
Well, I tell you, it looks like that there possibly is some choking going on, but let me tell you, folks, this is the United States Open, the most important tournament of the year, and I know, Donna, you've won an Open. You know what they're feeling coming down the stretch.
I sure do. There's no air getting to your brain at this point.
Back to 16.
And Meg Mallon for birdie. Donna.
The key thing to this hole is the speed. She's putting back up into the hill. It's going to swing right to left. She already knows that. Key thing is how hard to hit it. Players have said it's difficult to hit it going up the hill.
That's got a little work left too, with a little sliced putt coming back.
She got it to the hole, but now this 3.5 footer, as you said.
And back to 17.
Bradley for birdie.
There it is. The body English paid off. She's still alive.
So Pat Bradley at age 44, only 2 off the lead. She's trying to become the oldest ever to win this treasured title. 16.
Par attempt. Meg Mallon. Donna, it breaks right.
Breaks right, as Johnny said, a slice putt.
She remains one back of Annika Sorenstam, who is putting on 17.
For par.
Another slice putt. Yes.
A huge putt there for Annika after Pat making hers.
And that was a hard-earned par if you ever saw one.
That was a troublesome 5. She goes to 18 with a 1-shot lead over Meg Mallon. Betsy King in the clubhouse with a 67 today. Best round of this day. Pat Bradley with her birdie. Who knows, as you said, Johnny, bogey birdie situation here. And this young face from Stockholm.
And pushed her drive, pulled her second, pushed her third, hit it too hard on the fourth.
And Pat Bradley doing her own play-by-play.
Look at that look.
Please, 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 please.
Now we go to 18T. And as we do, I'll just remind you that Meg Mallon anxious to get to 17. She's birdied 17 each of the first 3 rounds. She's 1 back. Bradley first is 2 behind Sorenstam.
Some of the players been hitting 3 woods and 5 woods off the tee. Pat today with a driver.
You know she wants to hit a birdie. She wants to play it down the left center. A little fade maybe.
That's exactly what she did. A1 drive right there.
She knows with her experience that a birdie here could do it, get her in a playoff. And Annika's got to regroup. She has hit some errant shots, several in a row now. She really hasn't hit a real good shot for a while, so this is the biggest shot of her life.
She's parred 18 each of the first 3 rounds.
Left side of the tee this time.
Perfect drive, drawing back to the center.
Oh, Bradley and Sorenstam's balls 10 yards apart, and they are 2 shots away to 17 and Mallon at the tee.
She needs a big one down the middle. It's down the middle. Up, rolling to the intermediate rough, but that's not a bad spot to be right there. Get a little jumper out of there maybe.
Mallon playing the par 5 17, a birdie hole, and she trails Annika Sorenstam by 1. The early walk down 18 off the tee for 24-year-old Annika Sorenstam. A major prize within her grasp, and how close the competition? Right there. Meg Mallon -1.
And there's no feeling like this, I'm telling you. I've been there just one time, and it's just amazing. That's the only thing I can tell you. And she has got this hanging lie. It'd be very easy to hit this ball thin. And does that branch K come into play at all? It's just barely out of either just on the line or just off the line.
Right. She would have to hit a shot to the right to hit it. It's a clear shot for her to the pin. 176 yards.
She hits quickly. Is it
That was
right?
a 5-iron. It's going a little bit right.
It's got to settle. It's pin high. Not too bad. Not bad at all.
Took herself about 40 feet from the hole. Now Pat Bradley.
Pat Bradley just 2 paces ahead of Annika, 174 to the pin.
And she knows that Annika's in 3-putt range, and a birdie would put her in good stead.
Pat has also selected a 5-iron. Left side of the green.
Roll back. That's not a hard putt from there. That's definitely makeable.
Pat Bradley, the only player to have won all 4 of the LPGA majors, the Open in '81, 14 years ago, '86, the LPGA championship in Dinah Shore, and 3 times the Du Maurier. And she has sights on a birdie to make this really interesting. Let's go to Donna.
Meg Mallon's lie is not bad. She's 255 to the front edge of the green. She's elected to hit a wood. I don't think she could knock it on from here, but she doesn't know about the roars that are going on. She's going to wait for the players to clear the green, and then he'll hit.
So back to 18. Annika Sorenstam with a tenuous lead. There's the acknowledging smile.
I think she's breathing cotton balls right now, but good smile.
You know, we've talked a lot about Will Rogers. One of his very best quotes are, "We can't all be heroes because someone has to sit on the curb and clap as they go by." And so they do. The largest gallery in U.S. Women's Open history here at the Broadmoor.
And there's a look of a woman that knows it's not over yet. And she has the exact same putt that Nancy Lopez made. It's probably the easiest putt on the green. Pretty darn straight.
But she'll need help from Annika Sorenstam, who has a 2-shot lead. Meg Mallon, meanwhile, is back on 17 with thoughts on birdie herself. So let's go there. Her second shot.
Well, she's got enough adrenaline in her, I'm sure, to pick up a few yards if she needs it right now.
Well, she didn't hit it extremely long off the tee. I'm sure just trying to keep it in the fairway or in the short cut. Good play right at the middle of the green. It's short, though. Sets up her third shot.
Pretty much the same shot she made birdie on yesterday.
Out 18.
She's got a putt here. The fall, of course, the mountains are to her left, and this right here is just going to start breaking left right now. Slow down. That's a very fine putt right there. A little easier than that had gone in.
And Pat Bradley, catching the eye of Sorenstam, gave her a nod of approval, and saw Sorenstam look at her veteran competitor.
Oh, she's saying thank you for stopping. She's got it in that range. She doesn't have to sweat bullets to make it.
Tough enough, the thin air at 6,000 feet. How thin is it now?
And we've watched this putt all day long, and this is putt of Pat Bradley's is about as good a tracking putt as you can get on the 18th hole. As I said, Nancy Lopez made it right in the heart earlier in the day. She's going to leave the flagstick in. Made the big putt at 17. She hit a great putt. It moved right just a little. All day long we've seen that same putt go straight. She hit it right in the hole, and she doesn't know how unlucky she was right there.
How many near misses for Pat Bradley today? She putted so well not to do even better.
Her stroke held up like a young player. I mean, really did putt well today. Missed a couple short ones, but the long ones were terrific.
So the battle now defined to 2. Annika Sorenstam and Meg Mellon back at 17.
Boy, imagine the thoughts going on there and also here.
Bradley is going to putt out. This would be for 70.
Pretty straight putt right here. We've seen so many putts missed, short putts on this 18th hole, though. Just seems like they don't want to go in here.
Pat Bradley, she made this championship special. 70 to finish today.
And Annika's got about a 12 to 14 inch putt. You would think she could make this in her sleep, and she probably could anytime but right now, and shouldn't have any trouble with this though. She's been knocking in these putts, these short putts, with really a very free, smooth stroke.
A 68 today.
And she's going to force Meg Mellon to have to play under par the last 2 holes.
Boyfriend, fiance David Esch.
What a
now
great
the
moment.
waiting game, huh, Johnny? This has got to be as tough as playing.
What a great moment.
And if she should win this championship, she'd be the 6th foreign player to win the United States Open.
And now the focus turns on Meg Mellon, where it started today. And this is Mellon.
I mean, this is so similar to the 3rd shot yesterday that she knocked darn near for a gimme. She landed it short of the tier yesterday, and it hopped over and ran up. And she just absolutely scooped it, is what she did.
Leaves herself well away in 3. And here, Sorenstam, finishing her round of 68.
Oh, man.
That was the best breath of the day, wasn't it?
Oh, my word. She's so happy that she made that putt.
Trying to follow the lead of Liselott Neumann, her countrywoman. In 1988, her first LPGA win was the Open. Will history repeat for this Swedish star? Now to 17 for birdie, Meg Mellon, and a long attempt it is, but if successful would tie her for the lead.
40-footer, and Johnny has talked about the ridge right in the middle of the screen. Johnny, this is the putt that you and I putted that was dead straight. If anything, would have fallen a little bit right at the hole.
In fact, I said, you know, somebody had this putt.
Yep.
They could make it.
That's right. Up the hill and back down.
Started left of the hole and didn't hit it.
First time in the championship she didn't birdie here at 17.
Yeah, that third shot, she just, you know, with the pressure and the downhill lie, instead of swinging with the slope and maybe driving in there a little lower, she added a little loft right at the bottom and scooped it.
4, 4, 3, 3, 4, 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. Okay, please.
Sounds like a pretty good score to me, Dick.
Those are unfamiliar numbers to a lot of us.
4, 3, 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 4. Great. Appreciate your help today. Thanks for being with us.
I'm sure she's about ready to lose it, but lose it in a nice way.
She hasn't won yet. And the agonizing wait will be at least 10 more minutes. Julie Larson, who started in second place today, 1 over. This for birdie. So Larson remains 3 behind Sorenstam.
We can see the emotions have got to her. She's already pretty teary-eyed, and I know she's expecting to win.
Annika, when you're ready, will you
Started playing golf at 12. Her parents got her started. They both are players. She's an excellent tennis player as a youth, and at a time it appeared that tennis would be her sport, but eventually a scholarship offered to the University of Arizona, and then golf became her serious pursuit. Meg Mellon now.
Donna?
Straight in. I don't see it moving anyway.
She needs this to keep in touch.
It's putting right down to the valley.
Gives herself a chance to birdie 18 and force a playoff.
So let's take a close look at this finishing par 4 18th into the beautiful Broadmoor clubhouse. Johnny, how do you play it to make birdie?
Well, it's 394 yards, and of course at this altitude you can minus 10 or 15%, and most of the ladies have been hitting 3 and 4 wood off the tee. Played down the left center of the fairway, preferably hit a little cut to make it run a little more. Straight shot will do, and then go into the green with about a 7-iron, 8-iron to a very difficult back center pin placement.
Meg Mellon, who won the U.S. Women's Open 4 years ago and needs a birdie to tie Annika Sorenstam.
It'll be interesting to see if she goes with a little bit more club to get it down there in birdie range instead of having to hit a 6-iron, maybe more off the downslope. Of course, that brings more problems into play if she doesn't hit it straight.
Yet to birdie 18 in their previous 3 rounds.
She's elected to hit the driver. A little bit breeze into the players and left to right now.
One thing she doesn't want to do is miss it right. If you miss it right, there's a big tree and also some beautiful fir trees that'll give you no shot.
It's perfect.
Now she needs 2 more perfect ones.
Meg Mellon has the first part of her challenge answered. Can she birdie and force a playoff with Annika Sorenstam?
We are back at the 50th Women's U.S. Open with Annika Sorenstam, who is in the clubhouse with a 1-shot lead over Meg Mellon, and quite an emotional round. The tears were flowing. Annika, tell us what it was like for you. What sort of mentality you came into this round with? You were 5 shots off the pace.
Yes, I was 5 shots off the pace, and I said I have nothing to lose. I'm just going to try and hit the ball as good as I can and kind of be a little aggressive on the putts and trying to make birdies.
And this is something, this thought process started for you when I saw you yesterday on the range as you were practicing.
No, that's correct. I was actually looking for a little swing thought, and I did find something yesterday, but this morning I found it and I could keep it on the course also.
Okay, we're going to take a look at what's happening now on 18. And Annika, what emotions are going through your mind at this point?
I think I have a heartbeat of 2,000. But no, I'm just glad I'm in. Just have to see what Meg is going to do.
Okay, let's watch.
Donna, you got the yardage there?
She's 180 to the hole, 160 to the front with a 4-iron.
How's it look, Donna?
Going right at the center of the green. It's got to hop up.
You could sure tell how solid she hit that.
What a shot.
And she's left herself right underneath the hole, stop ball, and it does, and gives herself a chance at a national championship, a tie, and force a playoff.
Meg Mallon, who has her name on that championship trophy, 1991. Now we'll watch as Julie Larson, who has won over for the championship, her second.
Julie's 165. This is a big shot for her if she can make birdie. Finish even par for the tournament and the championship.
She just missed the water. Hannah?
Okay, Annika, let's check in with you again. Your thoughts after watching Meg Mallon's shot there.
I think she had a terrific shot into there. She probably hit a 6 or a 7-iron. I mean, I hit my 6-iron a little right, so she hit a really good shot there, and we'll see what she can do with the putt.
And as we watch them walk up 18, what was going through your mind as you were walking up 18, perhaps on the verge of winning this great championship?
Yeah, I don't remember even hitting the 6-iron. I was very nervous. As I said, my heart was beating, and but it was really nice to walk up. But the crowd is so supportive here, and they clap, and I get goosebumps all the way up there.
Your countrywoman, Lisa Neumann, made this great championship her first ever victory on U.S. soil. From knowing her, do you have a sense of what this might mean?
I don't think I know. First win and such a big tournament, I really don't know what I got myself into, but...
How much were you watching Meg Mallon today? How much were you watching that scoreboard?
I'll start watching on the back nine. So I know what she's done and how score she's been, and not only Meg, but all the others also.
Okay, let's watch. Okay, and you had a very impressive run of 3 straight birdies today, beginning on 9. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of your round today. Actually, this putt is for eagle at this point, aren't it?
Yes, I hit a 3-wood into the green there, and it's a big breaker, but almost a little lag, I would say.
You were putting yourself in good position, weren't you, with your iron play today? Here you are on 10. Another birdie.
I'm hitting a soft 6-iron. I think it was 165 to the front.
And you went on to birdie that hole, and then on 11, you had a chance for another birdie with this putt.
Yeah, I hit a wedge up into that green.
And your fortune started to change a bit on the back. Here you are on a 14 for birdie. What happened here?
Actually, I thought this was a pretty good putt. I just hit the edge.
Oh. Tough.
Yeah.
And on 15 for par?
Yeah, I was in the bunker there. Hit a little hard.
You bogeyed 15. You also bogeyed 16. At that point, were you feeling the nerves a little bit?
I was. It felt like every hole was 700 yards, and I had the longest putt in the world.
But then a great job on 17. You'd gotten into some problems, and you were able to par that hole. How big was that for you?
I think that was a key. I knew I needed to just make par there and trying to play 18. It was a big relief.
Okay, thank you very much, and we will sit and watch and wait with you as we go back and look at Meg Mallon.
And I'm sure Annika Sorenstam is interested as any in this, perhaps the largest gallery ever to watch, women's golf event.
Well, Julie Larson will putt first. She, of course, hit that second shot heavy and then pitched up to about 20 feet from the hole.
Started today in second place, 3 shots behind Meg Mallon. 2 behind Mallon at -3, so she's lost 4 shots to this point.
Breaks right. She'll probably elect to finish to set the stage here for Meg. And we've talked about a playoff. There will be a playoff. It'll start early Monday morning, tomorrow morning, if there's a tie, obviously, and will not be a sudden death today.
Well, she played some of the best golf of her life. Julie Larson, disappointing 75.
Donna Caponi, we've looked at this putt this morning. There isn't a lot of break. Do you see a little bit? We've seen this putt.
I see a little bit, Johnny, right at the hole. It's so slow, if you remember, when we were putting it. We really were, I was just banging the heck out of that putt to try and get it up the hill. Her ball is right at the base of the level, which means her left foot is a lot higher than her right, which really doesn't mean a whole lot other than she can feel that it's straight uphill.
Well, last time I saw her putting in a major championship, needing a putt to win, it was at, we were covering it in the PGA, and she knocked it right in the heart of the hole on the 72nd hole.
Well, she's one of our best putters on tour.
Face of the 1995 champion is 24-year-old Annika Sorenstam. Meg Mellon finishes one shot behind. Started the day 2 ahead, but a 74 brings the pack to her and one woman beyond. Annika Sorenstam, 24 years of age, one of the younger champions of recent years. So this, the largest gallery in the history of the U.S. Women's Open. The Golden Anniversary Celebration, the 50th U.S. Women's Open, won by a golden-haired 24-year-old from Stockholm, Sweden. Hail Annika Sorenstam, joining the list of the elite, the greatest players in the game of golf. Tonight at 7, 6 Central, join NBC for Lost Civilizations, followed by Sequest and the movie A Matter of Justice, starring Martin Sheen and Patty Duke. We'll be back next weekend with the JAL Big Apple Classic presented by Golf Magazine. Beth Daniel defends her title on one of the toughest courses the LPGA pros play all year. The JAL Big Apple Classic next Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern, here on NBC. And a reminder, coming up in September, the United States defends its title in the Ryder Cup matches, September 23rd and 24th, all on NBC Sports. For our entire NBC broadcast team at the Broadmoor, I'm Dick Enberg. Thank you for being with us, and congratulations to the 1995 U.S. Women's Open champion. Her first LPGA win is a major championship. Annika Sorenstam.